of publication had submitted an order. I wanted to just get some testimony from you just to make sure that due diligence has been exercised in trying to locate her before authorizing the publication notice. If you could raise your right hand, I'll place you under oath. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, Your Honor.
All right, and could you state your name for the record?
Richard Joseph Albritton.
All right, and you filed a petition for divorce from Christy Albritton, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Just you guys are currently separated.
Yes, sir.
All right. How long have you been separated?
Next month will be 13 years.
All right. So you've been separated for 13 years.
Yes, Your
And,
Honor.
all right. Where were you all living here in Kansas when you separated?
Your Honor, we were married in California. We had moved to Arizona. I was in the military. I left for a year to be stationed in Port Huachuca, Arizona. About a month before my intelligence school ended, she called me on February 3rd, said she wanted a divorce. Apparently, had found somebody else. So I obliged. I tried to divorce her, actually. I tried to find her with the PI. I had to hire one to confirm her address at the time she had moved to.
Where were you
That was
living at that time?
Brandon, Mississippi, Your Honor.
All right. And did you actually file a divorce petition there?
Yes, sir. We spent the next time from 2013 to 2017 with my attorney and her attorney going back and forth, getting very close to getting divorced. But right before we go to sign something, she would want me to pay something else or pay for one of my children's car insurance or pay for their cell phone bills. And so we disagree. And after 4 years and $10,000 with an attorney, I finally just gave up and said, I'm just done with it. Um, that was, like I said, in 2017. All minor children now are 21 or older. Two of three don't even live with her anymore. As far as the due diligence, Your Honor, I saw that there was a list stating talking to people that you would know in common. I haven't lived in Mississippi since 2013. I left in September of 2013. She remained there with my children. The last person we knew in common, I lost contact with in 2017. It was a mutual friend who actually became her landlord, and then I guess she welched on some rent or whatnot, and they were trying to contact me. Otherwise, we know of nobody else in common. I have not seen her in 11 years, almost 12.
Do
I
your
have not
children
spoken,
not have, do your children have contact with her?
but as a temporary court agreement that we had, which is now closed, I was not allowed to ask them where they lived or about their mother's life. And two of three of them within the last year have actually told me that their mother has specifically asked them not to give me her address. She doesn't want me to know where she lives. I do know that she's moved probably 6 times in the last 12 years because I used to be able to access my children's portal for their school and see that the school district's changed quite often. In fact, I believe when I got the PI hired to confirm her address, because I actually had a sheriff's deputy to sign the petition or deliver the paper to do the court for the divorce. I forgot what it's called. Um, I believe that was the third place she had moved within the second or third year.
And
So
where
trying to
was this all in Mississippi?
she remains today. I know what county she's in. I don't know what city she's in. She's moved between Richland, Mississippi, uh, Florence, Mississippi, and Brandon, Mississippi, possibly Pearl. So possibly four. But I actually did have my oldest son out visiting me for Christmas recently, this last Christmas right now, and he confirmed that his mother had asked him not to divulge information where she lives. And I asked him, I said, well, if I was to get you to take some paperwork to your mother, would you do that for me? And he said he didn't want to be involved.
Okay. Have you looked on social media to see if she's on there?
I've been blocked from any social media accounts for over a decade now. I can't access any of her social media because she's blocked me on everything since she told me she wanted the divorce. I can't find her social media stuff. If I type it in, it doesn't show up because I'm blocked. So
Okay. Have you done any like Google searches or online searches to try to locate her?
only thing I found when I did a Google search was her starting a what is it when you try to get money from people? GoFundMe to try to raise money for a divorce that I personally had already paid to file, and then paid for a PI to find her, and then spent 4 years and $10,000 with an attorney, for her just to never sign it with me.
Did the
She just
Did the Mississippi court dismiss that case?
I had it done the end of last year. I had to get that case closed in order to open up to petition for divorce again. So that closed November 3rd of 2025.
Okay. And you have the paperwork indicating that?
Not with me, but I do.
Okay.
I'm at work right now, Your Honor. I apologize.
Okay. No, it's fine. So you think you know the county she's living in Mississippi?
King County is the only one I know that she's lived in the entire there. That's when we moved there. Like I said, in 2009, I reenlisted in the military. I was gone for intelligence school for a year. By the time I came back, she had wanted a divorce, and I stayed for another 6 months. Unfortunately, I was not able to get a resist. We went bankrupt. I paid for both of us to go bankrupt because apparently while I was gone, she was spending house money on other things. She had met another man and she moved in with him. So I came back with about $700 to my name. But I went through all the lines that I could. And like I said, for years, I had a representative named Frank Garrison who no longer can discuss this with me because he's been promoted to a different type of lawyer. Apparently, he doesn't do family court or whatnot anymore. I reached out to him a couple months ago, and he said, "I'm sorry, but I can't help you with this." So I'd let that go. I remember her attorney's name, Heather Avey, but mainly it was just she would utilize visitation because I was living in California at the time. I would move back to California, my home state. She stayed in Mississippi. Um, I would drive to Mississippi to get my children. And then I would drive back to so I'd have them for the summer. And then eventually I started flying them out.
All right, guys, buckle up, because this case opens quietly but with heavy weight. In just seconds, a simple oath sets the tone for a legal battle that's been dragging on for over a decade. You're not watching a dramatic outburst or an argument. You're watching the calm before a storm built on years of silence, distance, and unresolved conflict. The judge's measured voice contrasts sharply with what's about to unfold. This moment matters because it establishes credibility, seriousness, and stakes. One man raises his hand, and with that gesture, we step into a story shaped by absence, frustration, and persistence. This isn't just paperwork. It's the beginning of closure that's been delayed far too long.
So it got a little pricey, but every time I was not allowed to ask them about their home life. I was not allowed to ask them where they lived. The only thing I knew about the school was because I was part of the parent portal and I was able to go on there. I even asked my attorney, who was supposed to get me her address multiple times, but for some reason it could never come through because I said, what if there was an emergency? What if some movie type thing happened and there's a giant earthquake, volcano, whatnot? Man needs to trek halfway across country to get his children. I only know what county they're in or what city or school district they're in. I didn't actually even have a
The
home address.
court didn't require each of you to disclose the address of each
She
other?
knew and that's what's funny, Your Honor, because she had my address. In fact, she probably has it now, considering two of my three children have came to my home here. I live in Eureka, right down by the city park, and I've had two of my children come out to visit me, so I know that they have my address. So I'm sure she has it. She just chooses not to converse with me. Being that my children are 21, they're twins, and then 25. Over the last 10 years, because of their age, they would speak to me if there's an issue, not their mother. We don't talk. Haven't talked in 9 years over the phone, 11 years in face to face.
Have you utilized a PI recently to try to locate her?
No, not this time, Your Honor. I, I, I know it may sound bad, but I've already went that route and paid for it, and then spent, like I said, nearly $10,000 in attorney fees for her to keep telling me that no, now you need to pay half of the Wi-Fi, you need to pay half the car insurance. I said I pay child support, and I did $70,000 worth. Finally, the children all came of age and cannot be utilized as a tool now. So and I've been with the same woman for 12 years, and let me tell you, Your Honor, your girlfriend gets upset when you still have a wife. So I'm just trying to get this taken care of. I know nobody in common with her. I cannot get a hold of her on any type of Facebook. That's the only thing I use. I don't use Instagram or InstaChat or chat or whatever. But I've been blocked from anything that I can try to see. When I Google her, all I find is past things from California, and like I said, the a GoFundMe to try to raise money for an attorney.
Have you located a newspaper in which to publish in her county, the county you believe that she's in?
Yes, Your Honor. I am not sure how that goes. I've been looking it up to see how one pays. I believe you do it once a week for 4 weeks, 28 days, certain amount of response. But there's the Clarion Ledger is a major paper out there distributed through Rankin County.
Give me just 1 second to review something.
Yes, Your Honor.
Alright, guys, this is where the tension truly peaks. After hearing years of effort, financial strain, and emotional exhaustion, the courtroom falls into a quiet pause that says everything. The judge reviews the record, and in that silence sits one crucial question. Has enough been done to justify moving forward without her? This moment carries the weight of 13 lost years. Every failed attempt, every blocked message, every unanswered door leads here. The ruling that follows isn't just procedural, it's validation. It confirms that persistence matters, that the system recognizes effort, and that sometimes justice moves slowly, but it does move. This is the turning point where waiting finally ends.
All right. I do find that you've made due diligence in trying to locate her. I do find that you've properly submitted a request, an affidavit for service of publication. I've heard your testimony under oath, and I do find that she lives out of state. Based on the information you do have, you've been able to pinpoint county of potential residence. So I will authorize you to publish notice. You'll need to look at KSA 60-307.
KSA 60-307, Your Honor.
Correct. And that sets forth the um, process for service by publication.
Yes, Your Honor.
You'll contact that newspaper and you'll have to provide them the information set forth in that statute, and then once they've completed it's 3 consecutive weeks, they'll submit a record or confirmation of publication notice. You should be able to get that from them, and that will get filed with the clerk there in Greenwood County.
All right.
And then once service by publication has been completed, we can set this for there'll be a time period in which she'll be able to respond if she does get notice. And then once that's passed, we can set the case for final hearing if she doesn't enter an appearance in the case.
Yes, Your Honor.
So I'll go ahead and sign this order that you submitted to the court, and that'll get filed with the court in Greenwood County.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Do you have any questions?
My only question is, your assistant, I believe her name is Miss Angela Cool.
Correct.
I know I can't get any guidance or whatnot, but all the information you've given me, if I have any questions on which order that needs to happen, I can contact her just to make sure I'm doing it properly then, consecutively.
To some extent, we can't provide you with legal advice, but for some of the technical type stuff, we can assist you in that. So,
I appreciate that, Your Honor. Thank you.
all right. Well, I'll get this signed. It'll get filed, and then contact us if you have any further inquiries, and we'll get a court date set when appropriate.
Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate your time.
All right, you bet. If there's nothing further, then we'll be in recess. Have a good day.